Hey guys, how's it going? This is car number 5, and today I have another gameplay for you guys. We are facing the Dinos. Looks like a Korean player, and he has Pepe Alazar. Looks like he pretty much has all the collections done. He's pitching the Team Epic, Dallas Keuchel. He also has Jason Giambi, Jackie Robinson. Looks like he's got a lot of players people were getting at the beginning of the game. He's got Ernie Banks and George Brett, Mike Trout as well. Really stacked team, so it looks like he's done the collections and done a lot of grinding. He's only 2-1 on the season. We're 10-0. We're playing at Cincy. And in this video, we are pitching Chris Sale. Now, this isn't going to be like a rant video, but I'll probably still get some people, some white knights in the comments that said, "Oh, you need to stop complaining, Cardinal Bird, blah blah blah." Well, I just kind of want to talk a little bit about the state of the gameplay right now. To be honest, I'm still having fun with the game. It's really frustrating at times, as Mike Trout. Actually, yeah, Mike Trout leads off the game with a double. But this game, you'll see some glaring issues that still hamper the gameplay and still kind of hold it back, in my opinion. I'm honestly fine with how the power is working now, as far as like good swings and all that. I like the challenge. As Kenny Powers hits a hanging slider here, it's going to be off the wall. Thought I hit it out, and it's going to get a triple. But I still feel like the just lates and the bad swings still need to be fixed, and I think if they could fix that, as well as fix the tag animations, I think this game would be fantastic. I'm enjoying it. There is a skill gap there. It's not as big as last year, really. Last year there were still a lot of problems, though. It was too easy to hit in general, too easy to hit opposite field home runs. I do think this one's a little more realistic as far as home run percentages, so I do like that. You'll just see when my opponent gets on offense that, there's no balance in his approach, as Dawson gets an RBI single here. By the way, I was expecting to just hammer Dallas Keuchel. Like, I did not expect him to pitch well at all. And you can see we get 2 early runs off him, and I thought this was going to be, how majority of the game went. But you guys will see. This was an interesting game, and I'm not going to turn it into like a rant fest. I am having fun with the game. The live content has been amazing. I definitely can't deny that. As Ken Griffey flies out to right center field there. We're also playing Hanley at first this game. And I didn't particularly hit great this game. I don't want to spoil anything, though. You guys will just see. We kind of got under this one with Hanley. But it definitely was an interesting game. Our opponent's been in the World Series before, so I was expecting a competitive matchup. We go ahead and change our pitching view to pitcher offset, too. We got him to a 0-2 count. I noticed right away he had a slow bat, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. There's a lot of World Series players. They either don't even try to hit an inside fastball, or they can't. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be condescending or anything. I just think it's a huge issue as far as balancing the gameplay, because you have players that are committing to fastballs. They're changing up the timing with their swings. As you can see here, we jammed him a lot the whole game. I don't think he had one good timing hit the entire game, and I don't think he pulled one fastball. In my opinion, there's a big problem with that. Like, you shouldn't be rewarded for not being able to have good timing. This one is actually a really good hit. Now, I should have just kept throwing inside. He took a slider down and away in the gap. I mean, I could tell that he was an opposite field hitter, and that's all he tried to do. He didn't adjust. So, I gave him a few opportunities to see if he would adjust, and he pretty much wouldn't. So, every now and then I would throw something away, change up away, or slider down, and just to keep him honest. But I was trying to get that fastball in on his hands for the majority of the game, and you can still see that, he had decent success with this approach. And I think it's just terribly flawed. Like, in real baseball, if you can't hit a fastball, period, you're not going to have much success. You're not going to be able to generate power and just go opposite field, and off the hands all game. Speaking of just like this, we kind of got a BS one here ourselves. But I do think the game is playing better, so I do want to stay positive in that manner. I just think people are kind of letting this, slip under the cracks a little bit. I think people are getting a little too happy with the live content, which has been great, but it's kind of hiding some of the other flaws that there still is with the gameplay. So yeah, here we are about to open up this game. I have a runner on second and third. I should have scored there. And then you guys will see here, this was just an interesting game. I pop out to the shortstop of Chris Sale. It was a pitcher, didn't expect to do much. Work it to a full count here. And he throws a high and in changeup. It totally got me off guard. And that was a big strikeout. I think that might have been the only time I struck out. No, I think maybe once or twice. I mean, that was a big strikeout, and I was really disappointed in myself. Like I said, I could have definitely hit better this game. He went ahead and put the cap on, and that's going to load the bases for Matthews. I don't think Keuchel's tough to face at all. His per nines aren't great. He doesn't have like the best movement either. I just didn't hit too well in certain situations. But we do have the lead. We're up 2-1, but we stranded the bases loaded there, so it is what it is. And you guys can see again, we're trying to attack him middle in. Sometimes I'm missing my spots. Sometimes I'm getting the ball in. But what kind of frustrates me the most is that certain players like this, they don't try to adapt at all. I mean, these are the. I'm not saying anything bad about an opponent, but I'm saying there's people out there that'll complain about you throwing inside pitches, and they make no effort to adjust their gameplay. They're just late. And again, I don't know if it's intentionally or if they just can't hit an inside fastball. But again, I do think it kind of diminishes the balance in gameplay, and it kind of does make pitching boring. Like I don't like throwing all the way, fastballs all the way inside for majority of the game. Here we did a hit and run, hit in some bad luck. We were all over that. Again, just some bad luck. That's and we got more to come to in this game. Again, with the balance. If they make no effort to change their gameplay and their timing at the plate, why should I change my approach pitching? That's kind of how I look at it. And it does get boring. So I think there can be some hypocrites in the community, definitely out there. Like if you're not adjusting your bat speed at all and you're letting your opponent just exploit you with inside it can work the other way too. You can have an early bat and people can just throw you away, pitch soft away. And if you don't adjust, that's your fault. Same thing for having a slow bat. If you don't make that adjustment, that's totally your fault. But however, this game can kind of let you get away with that. I mean, I've played a handful of World Series guys, probably more, honestly, probably a lot more, that cannot hit a fastball. And in my opinion, I think there's something wrong with that. Like, I don't think you should be able to be a World Series caliber player if you can't not hit a fastball at all. Now there's other players in the community that kind of have a slower bat and are good at hitting opposite field. And I'm just going to use Movie Gaming as an example. He can turn on the pitch when he needs to. He chooses to hit opposite field a lot. He doesn't have the quickest bat, but when he needs to hit an inside fastball, he can, and he's shown that he can. So he's a very good hitter this year. I think he's gotten a lot better, and he's excelling this year. Definitely a very good hitter. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there as an example. And again, I'm not trying to rant. There's still a lot of good things about this game, and at the beginning of the year, I really didn't want them. I wanted them to go back to the MLB The Show 16 engine. I kind of take that back. I kind of like how this engine is playing. It's more realistic. It's smoother. Well, not exactly more realistic. I just think if they could be able to fix some of these inconsistent exit velos, I would be really happy with the game. I really would. And I would be willing to try to help them, do anything they can to fix that. So I don't know if it's still, I don't know if they're planning to do anything different with 18. I'm pretty much given up on the fact that they're going to change too much for 17. I do think I've gotten used to this recent patch, not the one that came out like yesterday or whatever, but the one that actually affected gameplay about a month ago or so. And here's another example. We throw a fastball up and in. You guys have seen it all year. I don't want it to sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but but it still is a major issue in my opinion. I know some people honestly believe it's not an issue and they don't notice it. I just don't see how you can justify a pitch middle in hitting it 100 plus. I just don't with this. I mean, everybody knows it pretty much. It's whether you agree or disagree is on you, but everyone is pretty much aware of how the game is playing. Anyways, we are tied 2-2, and it just felt like kind of one of these games. I'm playing nothing against Koreans or anything. It just kind of felt like everything was going his way. He was playing really well defensively. I was hitting into some bad luck, and at the same time, I was stranding runners on my own. Like I wasn't hitting too well with runners on. Had some situations that I kind of just wasted. So some of it is my fault. Kenny Powers does hit a home run for us here. Like I said, Keuchel isn't that hard to hit. I think I struck out once versus him, and that's probably one too many. He's not very difficult to hit. I'm nothing against Keuchel. He's an excellent pitcher in real life, but on the game, he's just not very effective. So we go up 3-2 here, and then for whatever reason, I was kind of in a mini slump. I go in mini slumps on my hitting here and there. I kind of make small subtle adjustments, especially like lefty on lefty, and I don't know. I didn't get my PCI on that, and it was kind of late. So I think I was going through like a mini little slump this game, but you can see I'm hitting the ball hard still, just kind of right at his players. But nonetheless, it is a close game, and I'm not taking anything away from my opponent. He was a very patient player. He was a good player, but like I said here, he wasn't even really, I wouldn't even say he was patient. He was just not really even able to hit the inside fastball, and he was just pretty much looking for something soft. I wouldn't even say he was like really patient. I played a lot more patient hitters. But honestly, if you have this approach, you can have a lot of success in this game. Don't swing at inside fastballs, You know, when you get to 2 strikes, just be very late, foul him off until you finally just late one like this right here. He didn't hit it particularly well, but it did find the gap. So, I don't know. I still think it is an issue with gameplay, so I really, really hope they can find a way to fix it and make it a little bit more consistent next year. Again, I'm not asking for the game to play perfect, but I do think, you know, there should be a couple things we're looking for in a video game. I mean, it is supposed to be a baseball simulation video game. As we're pitching to Pepe, and again, we jammed him. Again, I'm looking to have fun. I am. I'm looking for, you know, to enjoy the game. Not everyone wants 1-0, 2-0 games. I totally understand that. Secondly, I do want it to play pretty realistic, though. I mean, I understand, like, last year there was, it took skill to hit last year, but again, at the same time, it was a little bit too easy to hit home runs. So I do like how they slowed down on the home runs a little bit. It kind of gave power hitters a little bit more value. Last year, you could hit like home runs left and right if they had like 60 plus power, 70 plus power easily. This year, the guys with 80, 90 plus power, I think, are valued a little bit more. And it's a lot harder to hit opposite field home runs. So I do like that aspect of it. And the last thing I look for when I'm playing a video game, whether it's a sports video game or whatever it is, I think we all just want to be rewarded. And I think that's kind of the biggest issue with, you know, the inconsistent hitting is, sure, you know, I hear people say, oh, it evens out over the long run, which, yeah, I guess that's kind of true, but I want to be rewarded when I have good timing and good PCI placement, compared to just being randomly rewarded when I have bad timing or bad PCI placement, you know? I think everybody wants that, and I think everybody would agree that's fair. That being said, it is baseball. Blue pits happen, which I'm totally fine with. I just would like to see the power, you know, on the inside-out swing just be nerfed some more. I mean, and I think if they did that, this game would be playing amazing. Again, I'm not trying to turn this into a rant video. It's August. We've been playing the game, you know, for 4 months. We already know what the game is about. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You're probably not playing the game. I don't even know if you're probably not even watching this video. If you still like it, you're still interested. You're probably still watching YouTubers. You're probably still watching, you know, obviously you're here watching my gameplays, so I appreciate that. But I just don't want people to forget that, you know, if you guys ever have any inconsistent videos, like if you guys save videos of some BS hits or whatever, just make sure to, you know, show the win. If you can, try to show the win, show the pitcher, the pitch type, and the feedback, everything as much as you can. And this, not the spray charts, because that's kind of hard to show, but the videos help a lot. The snapshots, like I said, I don't really think there's much they can do with the snapshots, but, you know, I'm still willing to retweet them, because, you know, I have a lot of, well, at this point, I kind of have some low expectations for next year. But that being said, we're going to go more into gameplay. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that. I think people are, I don't know. The game is definitely, to my opinion, it's definitely playing better, or maybe I'm just getting used to it. I'm not sure. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the game here. My opponent has the tying run on third. And again, it just was one of these games, like I was just kind of out of a funk. I was leaving runner stranded. And when I finally did hit the ball hard, it was some bad luck. Here he pinched hit Kenny Lofton. We have our boy Kenley Jansen in, who in my opinion is the best reliever. Him or Chapman, it's close. He killed it in this last event for me. And again, we jam him again, and that's what I'm talking about. Like he didn't really show an attempt to take away that inside fastball at all. So, you know, it's my job as a pitcher to, you know, constantly exploit that until he showed me something different. And I think a lot of people, again, they don't realize, I don't know, I guess they don't think about that. They don't look at it from their opponent's perspective sometimes. But anyways, we get a leadoff walk, and then Ed Matthews off Billy Wagner. He had the Diamond Wagner, which I don't see too often, and he pretty much threw a fastball pretty much down the middle. Yeah, it was like high and away a little bit. PCI wasn't on it perfectly, but we got enough of it to hit a home run to dead center. And we go up 5-2. So those are some big insurance runs. I was kind of sweating at this game. I just felt like something crazy was going to happen. You know, he was getting a few jammed hits, some bloopers to go his way. He had a really good team. So I definitely needed that insurance. And now it's the 8th inning. Here I threw a slider, a hanging slider. It totally missed my spot. I was really, really surprised that he did not crush this. I think he kind of tried to make an attempt in these last few innings to try to speed up his bat, because I noticed a few times he was starting to swing a little earlier. And then here we get him on a sinker, just mixing up our pitches with Jansen, get him on a sinker and on the hands. He overshot his PCI, got an easy ground out to Zobrist. And then we paint the corner, slider down and away. This is Mike Trout. And then, you know, we're going with the sinker up and in, a little slide step to try to surprise him. And he fights it off for a hit. Again, those happen. It seems like they happen a lot this year. And I recommend, guys, if you guys are noticing that your opponent's getting a lot of bloop hits, play your infield normal. Don't play him deep. I'd rather, you know, take away some base hits rather than, you know, I might give up a double or whatever. If they hit the gap, they hit the gap. It's whatever. But most of the time, like if they have speed like Dawson or Trout and they hit the gap anyways and you still cut it off, they're still going to take second. So I just like to play normal depth a lot if I can. And then here's the Stanton. We tried to jam him. He had very late timing on this, and he just kept fouling the pitches off. Like I said, he knew how to play. You know, he knew how to play this year's game. He had that just late swing on, you know, pitches kind of middle in, and he was able to foul off the fastballs middle in with very late timing, just enough, you know, just enough to foul it off until he got something over the middle of the plate that he could drive. And then full count. We go with the sinker again. I'm gonna try to throw it up and in. I pretty much threw it down the middle and missed my spot, and I kind of tied him up. He probably overcompensated his PCI or something, and he just missed a pitch. So we're up 5-2. We're gonna go ahead and fast forward to the ninth. Just bring in Iglesias here, and I've pretty much been using Iglesias in my bullpen, like in every event, in ranked seasons, and if I can get him in BR. I think Iglesias is an amazing reliever. I love that sinker. He can get his four seam up to 98 miles an hour. He's got a good slider, and I love the changeup. It's a good tool that Jansen doesn't even have to get lefties out. So I really like his changeup. We get him to an 0-2 count. Again, I see he still has a late bat, and I'm surprised he chased that because he wasn't chasing many pitches at all out of the strike zone anyways. I think that kind of surprised him, and he swung just too late, obviously. And then I noticed I was keeping tabs on his bench. He didn't have anybody to replace Seager, so I knew I had this lefty-on-lefty matchup. I think if he would have pinched hit Seager, I could have just walked the next guy, and then he would have no more pinch hitters available. So that's something you guys always want to be tracking. You always want to pay attention to your opponent's bench. Who can they sub out, and whether or not, you know, like keep a track of how many pinch hitters they have left too, because it might come down late in the game where they don't have any pinch hitters left, and you could walk their 8th place hitter to get to the pitcher. We want the slider, a high slider actually, to change eye levels, because I knew like the low slider, he was on it last time because he started off the game with that slider down and away, hit it in the gap. So I want to go with a high slider. Kind of froze him a little bit. I'm assuming he didn't swing at it. So it seemed to work out, and we were able to get the W. We only got like 9 points because my opponent, I think, was only 2-1 on the season, so we didn't get too many points. But we do move closer to the World Series. And again, I appreciate you guys watching the video. This is card number 5 signing out. Peace.